Hi, it's Rachel from Kapiti Youth Support. How can I help you?
Whatever now, do your move. Yeah, okay. You can stand sideways.
We are the Kapiti Equestrian Centre and Vaulting Club.
Stand where you were before.
Okay.
Don't fall. All of the sounds you've just heard have one thing in common: the Lions book sale in Waikanae. Why? Because they've all received donations from the book sale.
Hi, my name's Annie and I like to read fiction books like Harry Potter and The Hunger Games. I also like to read sad stories like The Fault in Our Stars.
And have you ever been to the Lions book sale?
No, but I really want to.
Have you heard it? Why do you want to go?
Because I like to read.
And Annie isn't the only one. The Lions book sale has provided funding to the Wellington Rescue Helicopter, the Kapiti Youth Support Services, and to the Kapiti Vaulting Club, who recently did so well in Germany, and to many more good causes. While most locals know of the Lions book sale, very few have any idea of just how much effort goes into producing it, and how beneficial it is to the community as a whole. As you probably already know, the Lions book sale is on again this coming Saturday and Sunday, the 18th and 19th of October 2014. So in this program, we're going to look at what is involved in running the two-day sale and the several months of effort that go into making it happen. We will also look at how the money you spend at the sale benefits those in the community. But first, let's learn a little more about the origins of the sale from Peter Cresswell, the sales organiser for the last 15 years.
Shirley Sowery started the book fair to raise funds for the community centre in Paraparam. And after 3 or 4 years, when the 100,000 that the public needed to raise, Shirley didn't need to do it anymore because we had enough funds for the community centre. So Lions were asked if they wanted to carry it on. The first one I helped out, well, we had it in the in the Waikanae Community Hall. That's a big hall, and we probably had, I go by the size of the number of boxes we have, and we probably had 1,000 to 1,200 boxes, wine boxes of books. And now we have double that amount. So we went from about $12,000, I think, the first year, and after 5 years we were up to 20,000. And of course, since then we've taken over using the back room the last 4 or 5 years, and I think the best year we had when we actually collected 46,000.
Since its beginnings, the Lions book sale has raised over $450,000 for local charities. No small feat, given that the average cost of running the sale each year is about $2,000. First job each year for the Lions book sale is to find somewhere to store next year's books.
We're asked to collect books from people who are cleaning out from estates or shifting, so we're asked to take books all throughout the year. So the thing is to try and get some accommodation to where we can store the books, and then when we start in about May, collecting them overall and sorting them, we need a big area. And over the years we've gone from little sheds to leaky buildings to 3-bedroom houses, to everything. And once again this year we've had a different venue again, the Raumati swimming pool. I think the worst place was probably a shed on the road to Waikanae. Very good of the farmer to lend us his old shed, but each time it rained we had to get horse covers and cover up the books in the shed. Others we've had have been quite smaller than that, but so we've had to shift the books each week after we've sorted them. Now that we have the new aquatic centre, the Raumati pool has been decommissioned, and we took the opportunity to get a hold of it. We had to put up scaffolding and arrange so that nobody's going to fall into the pool itself. Now we've got all our boxes there, but we've actually been sorting them in the ladies' changing room. At the moment, it just looks full of books because there's well over 2,000 boxes of books there. There's empty cartons. We collect cartons from the supermarkets and liquor stores.
Once the Lions have found a place to store next year's books, the collection process can begin. And sometimes the Lions get rather more than they bargained for.
Businesses that act as depots for us, collection, there's all those people that give their premises, and we're very lucky that all that is given. We do not have to pay for that. One lady was looking for asked if she could have her books back because she'd been storing money away quietly without her husband knowing it, and I think she had them in a book and she's lost the money and the book. Their free money for the holiday has disappeared.
So there's a very happy person out there got a book full of money.
Yeah, some person there. This was happened last year, and somebody got a book full of money. So I think it was American dollars. I'd be very pleased to have those dollars. Another time we got a book that was actually hollowed out with a gun in it, a pistol.
A real pistol? A
real pistol. I think the actual pistol was just an ordinary one, very common, so it wasn't something special, but someone, yeah.
And did they ever find out whom it belonged to?
Nobody owned up to that.
And this year the Lions got a big surprise in the form of two very old books.
Well, one's a huge Bible, and it's obviously come to New Zealand with somebody. Both of those books must have come to New Zealand when they first came here to bring them out. To be that old, the Bible is 324 years, I think.
And where is it now?
It's at the Alexander Turnbull Library. We get a lot of photographs of family photos that are in books, and we put them up on a board and hope someone.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, put them up on a board and hope somebody will have a look and see these old photographs, because photographs are what helps us recall our history.
Collecting and storing the books is only the first part. With over 60,000 books or 2,000 boxes, someone then has to go through and sort all of those books into one of 36 different categories, and also decide which books are worth keeping and which ones have to be recycled.
A team of probably 15 women and men that work on Tuesday and Thursdays to sort the books. I say there's 36 categories, so they go around. Right, a box of books comes in and they sort it out, and there might be some from animals, there might be some from sports and so forth, and they're put into separate boxes all around the room. And when there's enough in those big boxes, others put them into a carton, box them up, and that's a little art in its own to get them boxed up so they're level and solid, so they don't tip over, because we stack them 7 or 8 boxes high. It takes us 5 to 6 months to handle all the books.
And that's basically one day each week?
Yeah, and the last 6 weeks have been 2 days a week, yeah. We did one year, counted how many hours went into actually sorting it. Well, that was over 1,000 hours of actual just sorting that the ladies put in.
How much does it actually cost to run the book sale?
Normally we need $2,500 to $3,000 to run it. We're very, very lucky that we get help from the Observer with our advertising. We get help from the KCDC. We hire trucks, but we get those discounted rate. People are very good at helping. They know it's for the community.
Last year the Lions sale had over 60,000 books and raised more than $35,000 for various charities, which isn't a bad return on an investment of $2,000 to $3,000. But the thing to remember is this cost is nothing when compared with the amount of time and effort put into the sale by the Lions members. And they are all volunteers giving their time in support of the sale and ultimately the community.
Have you a real love of books?
Having spent the best part of a year collecting, sorting into 36 different categories, and then storing more than 60,000 books and over 2,000 boxes at the Raumati swimming pool. The Lions now have to get the Memorial Hall in Waikanai ready for the 2-day sale, which is due to start on the Saturday, the 18th of October 2014. They have to clear the Memorial Hall, set up around 50,000 books onto over 100 trestle tables, and they have 2 days in which to do it, with a little help from the community.
Well, the Memorial Hall is the biggest in the regions, so that's what we use. But it's not empty for a start. We have probably 300 chairs to shift from where they're stacked, so we can have those access doors. We shift those chairs. We then put up strings right across the hall so that we can put the names of the categories up above the table, so that everybody knows where the books are to go and where to go to buy them. And then we have to also go and get all the tables and trestles. We have two exits from the swimming pool where we'll load out the books and cart them up there. We've got to have a team at the other end to take them off the trucks and trolley them around, and then we because of the room, we have to stack them and restack them and get them out. It is quite a lot of work, but yeah, by 4 o'clock on Friday, we'll have everything hopefully ready for Saturday morning.
So by the time the books are ready for sale, they've actually done an awful lot of travelling in their own right.
Yes, they have. When they're picked up, sorted out from your own home, taken to a place reception. They're picked up from there and taken to our sorting place. They're taken and sorted and repacked. They're taken from the packing place and emptied out into the right place for show. Yes, they get handled quite a few times.
It's easy to miss just how physical this effort is. After all, they're just books, and we all have books. Each of the books in the Lions sale has to be handled several times, whether it's during collection, sorting, storage, transport to the sale, etc. This in itself does not sound like much of an effort, until you realise that the average book weighs around 0.34 kilograms. Multiply that by 60,000, and all of a sudden you're dealing with about 22 tonnes of books that are all handled many times by many different people and transported to different locations.
We set the dealers' room up. Dealers do not get any preference at all. They pay the same amount. They're not let in beforehand, but because they do collect so many books, it's an advantage to us to handle them in one area so that they can go out and buy more, and we just put those aside so that they can pay for them and collect them when they finish purchasing. But they do not get any preference, and they pay the same price as anybody else.
So it's basically just easier to process them that way.
That's right.
Now that the sale is ready to go, let's go back to the whole reason the sale is taking place: the charities. Last year the sale raised $37,000, and this was distributed amongst various charities. But of course, before you can distribute the money, the Lions need to decide which groups will benefit.
Well, there are 5 clubs involved in this book fair, 5 clubs on the Kapiti Coast. Each club decides themselves who they would like to give the money to. It may be for one person, or in most cases it's a deserving cause, and it's got to be going back to the Kapiti region. In 2013, recipients were Life Education Trust, Life Flight Trust, Kapiti Safer Community Trust, Muscular Dystrophy Association, Kapiti Youth Support, Parkinson's Society, Paparam Senior Citizens Association, Age Concern Kapiti, Raumati Pony Club, and the Kapiti Equestrian and Vaulting Club.
It's all very well to talk about raising $37,000 for the community, but where the rubber really meets the road is at the charity end. So let's hear from some of the groups that received grants from the 2013 Lions book sale.
Hi, it's Rachel from Kapiti Youth Support. How can I help you?
What is it that KYS does? What do you actually do in the community?
Well, KYS is a youth one-stop shop, and it's a network of there's about 10 in the country. KYS and Kapiti has evolved out of need. We've been going for about 18 years, and as I mentioned, we're a charitable trust, and we have about 4,900 young people accessing our services. And these services include medical and nursing services. We also have clinical psychology, counselling, alcohol and drug services, social work, mentoring, parenting, peer support, transition to work, and youth development and education programs. So quite wide and varied.
Last year, you received some money from the Lions book sale. How did it actually help you on the ground to do your job better?
You know, we've been the recipient of the book fair several times, and, you know, I know that the hours and hours of work goes into organising the book fair, and we really, really appreciate it because it actually allows us to do those extra things that we don't get funded for.
And speaking of extra things, you were telling me the other day that you actually got quite a prestigious award last year in December. Now, tell me about that.
Well, you know, although we're based in Kapiti, we're quite an innovative organisation, and last year we won Capital Coast District Health Board's Quality and Innovation Award, Team of the Year and overall Supreme winner. And, you know, that we beat medical centres, we beat PHOs, we beat consultants that had budgets of $800,000. So she received an email this week from the post-pension super organiser, and she said, "Hey, Kapiti, you've really impacted on the suicides within your community, and what you're doing is working. Keep up the good work." So those people that are buying the books, think of organisations like ours that are contributing to making this community a much better place for everybody.
I'm Sebastian, and I work in the support team at the Lifeboat Trust here in Wellington. Essentially, we are a life-saving emergency service, and how we do that is we do that by air. And specifically for Kapiti, we provide the local Westpac rescue helicopter. We also have an emergency air ambulance service via plane, where we fly people from that region anywhere in the country to where the specialist medical care is that they might need.
So basically, I can say that quite often you'll see this red helicopter flying over Kapiti. So when we see that's you guys.
Absolutely. And we're up there at least once or twice every week, unfortunately, because of the nature of the terrain up there. It's rugged, some of it is quite remote, and we also have some really dangerous roads up there, which are often what we're called out to attend to. We have some of the most highly qualified and most experienced people in the country, and obviously some fantastic equipment, which is all made possible by people like the Lions.
It's actually very expensive to run this kind of service. For example, just the hourly rate of a helicopter of that type is in the order of thousands of dollars.
Correct. We, on average, have to raise around about $2,500 from the community each time we go out and save somebody. We are called out in only the most critical cases, and so those are generally people who would have a really negative outcome. They might perish or have a dramatically altered quality of life, and those are the type of emergencies that we're usually called to attend to.
And now I understand that last year you guys got some money from the Lions book sale here in Waikanae, so could you tell me a little bit about that?
They've been incredibly generous, and we're grateful. I mean, we absolutely rely on groups like this and events such as this to be able to keep providing our service 24/7. And those Lions have actually contributed over the years $13,000 towards the Lifeboat Trust, it's incredible. It's very generous. In particular, last year, the Lions were extremely generous, and they upped their donation. And after the event, they gave us $6,000. We were thrilled about this, and what we did is we put that towards a really important equipment purchase that we had to make, and it was to buy what we call a new transport ventilator. And that's an item that we use for the most serious cases when we have an intensive care level type of transfer. And the ventilator, essentially, it helps breathe for people when they're in a situation where they just can't do that for themselves anymore. And we would fly roughly 200 to 300 patients every single year who require one of those, and we only have a couple of those. So you could imagine how many people that's gone on to affect. Literally, almost every day someone would need that piece of equipment, and the majority of those people are going to be in this lower North Island or upper South Island region. So that's a huge impact. And
presumably because it flies in a helicopter, it's probably a good deal more expensive than something that might be used in a hospital as well.
That's right. Much of our gear, almost all of it, is specifically designed for the type of work we do. And it's not necessarily just in the helicopter, it might also be in our air ambulance plane, which a lot of people don't realise that we have. But by supporting Life Flight, not only supporting our Westpac Rescue helicopter, they're also supporting our air ambulance plane service that we have. And that's used to fly people all around the country. If someone from Kapiti was to require a specialist down at the Burwood Spinal Unit down in Christchurch, the best way to get them there would be by a plane. So all of our equipment has to be certified for those type of transport sports too. And you're absolutely right, it needs to be lighter, more hard-wearing, and ultimately extremely reliable, because when you're in the air, you have nothing else that you can fall back on. Yeah, look, if I could just wrap up by saying a huge thank you to everybody that's involved with the book fair. We run a lot of fundraising events ourselves. We know how much work goes into these things, and we're just so grateful that they've considered us in the past to be a beneficiary of their wonderful event. So just a big thank you from all of us here.
Do you guys know about the Lions book sale?
Yes.
Yes. It enabled us to go to a training camp in Germany where there were lots of great coaches.
What did you do in Germany?
We were training for the World Game. We were training on a new horse that we had never trained on before to prepare ourselves to compete at the World Equestrian Games.
And then when you competed for the first time, it's the first time a New Zealand team has ever competed. How many teams were there competing?
17 teams.
And these are from all over the world. And what place did you guys get?
9.
Out of 17?
Out of 17.
So you're happy?
Yes.
Do you like the Lions book sale?
Yes.
Lynn McIntyre, the manager of the Kapiti Equestrian Centre.
That success has been 6 years in the making.
For the people out there that don't know what vaulting is, particularly vaulting on a horse, what is that exactly?
You could liken it to gymnastics on a horse. It's a very old sport. It was in the Mongol era where the soldiers, or the riders if you like, they were warring soldiers, learnt to rotate around the horse so that they could slip to the side or over the neck and not be killed. And that's how vaulting started.
The team that went to Germany this year, how long have they been doing it?
Most of them started when they were 6 and they're now 16.
So about 10 years?
About 10 years. Some a little bit under that. We took an 11-year-old girl. I think she's probably the youngest international World Games competitor for New Zealand. And she was fantastic. And the oldest we took was 21.
It's not just a simple matter of you turn up in Germany and perform on a horse. Tell me about the training that went into the effort before you left the country.
Here, the girls were training 5 times a week. They were getting up at 5:30 every morning, going to the gym. They had personal trainers, so they do that. Then they train on the horse 3 or 4 times a week, and then they do stretching exercises, etc. They've been training for years, but certainly in the last 6 months the training was intense, and it was the priority in their life.
And once you get to Germany, of course you were saying before that it was too expensive to bring the horse. So take me through that process, because that was, I understand, something in which the Lions book sale actually helped. Describe that.
When we got to Germany, we'd gone over there with a selection of 3 horses that we could use. We had to nominate those horses before we left New Zealand, before we could see them. That was part of the World Games criteria. And when we got there, 1 horse was lame. That was out of the equation. The second horse we found too difficult to vault on. He was a younger horse, and the third horse was perfect for us. When you're standing 4 metres up on a horse on top of someone's shoulders, you need to know that that person controlling that horse is really controlling that horse, and that takes a lot of trust. I mean, it was a very expensive exercise to be doing what we were doing. With the funding from the Lions book sale, we were able to go to the German training camp, which lasted for 9 days. It was some top instructors were brought there, as were their choreographers and people who could, experts with music, etc. So we had access to a lot of professional people. To our amazement, they thought we were wonderful. We were definitely the top team there, and they couldn't believe that we'd come from New Zealand and how did we know so much, and who had trained us and who had helped us get there. So it was fantastic.
This year, the Lions book sale takes place on the 18th and 19th of October, which is this coming weekend. There are over 60,000 books and plenty of opportunities for great bargains. So when you're at the sale and maybe hesitating over whether you should buy that extra book, just do it, because you can guarantee that the books you buy really do make a difference, and not just to you.
This oral history project is produced by Jack Penman.
This program was made with assistance from New Zealand On Air. Thanks, New Zealand On Air.